I'm kind of nervous. Kind of nervous right now because we don't usually welcome big stars to the Snap Judgment stage. It's not that type of thing, but today, a local girl made good. A poet, a writer, an actress. Please put your hands together for your own Sonya Renee.
My mama had sweaty knees. If you were a little black girl, it is likely that you knew your mama had sweaty knees too. And we knew this because for nearly a decade, longer if we were unlucky, we sat between our mama's sweaty knees to have any myriad of atrocities committed to our scalps. My mama braided, ponytailed, pulled my hair every single day of the week. And every 6 weeks, I got a relaxer. I can assure you there is nothing relaxing about having 8-year-old black girl hair. Actually, I was pretty certain there was nothing that could be worse. See, first there were the commercials, the ones with people who never had faces or hair like mine. Then there were the products, the rows of beautiful black women with shiny, long, flowing hair. The only time I had long, flowing hair was when I danced around my bedroom in my mama's white towels, looking more like a nun than a hair model. And then there was my mother's sheer disdain and short-temperedness every time I sat between her sweaty knees to have my hair pulled, brushed, and snatched back. My mother, 5'4" on a good day, had the hands of Hercules. I swear she could rip the steel beams from beneath the very flesh of the Empire State Building, but instead, she used those hands to braid my hair. And if I squirmed in the seat while she did it, stop all that moving around. And if I reached to touch my hair, get your fingers out your head. And if I cried, crack! Shut it up, child. Stop all that moving around before I pop you in the head with this brush. I know it sounds awfully abusive. It was. But the truth is, my mother just wanted her daughter to be beautiful. And when she finished, my hair was a work of art. I was an African princess, a black goddess, queen of the pretty girls everywhere, until I went to school. In school, I was just a bald-headed black girl, and no one wanted to be that. See, the first thing to die under the heavy weight of my mother's palms were my hair follicles. My mother pulled my hair so tightly that by 3rd grade, I had permanent bald spots on the side of my head. And now, not only did I have short hair, but in some places it was non-existent. And every day I got on the school bus headed to Woolslair Elementary School to be reminded of how far from beautiful I truly was. See, there was Tanya Twyman, awful name. Tanya, 4 years older than me and mean as they made 'em. I swear she breathed to make my life sad. And she always started the school bus ride with a chant that was very quiet at first. Sonya, 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 Sonya bald spots. And the whole bus would join in. Sonya, Sonya bald spots. While I sat in the front and wept closest to the bus driver. This felt like it lasted the entirety of the bus ride. This felt like it lasted the entirety of my school life, although I'm sure it didn't. But, you know, there was just Something about their words, Tanya and Bus 35, permanently implanted themselves on my brain. They became the soundtrack of my most visceral insecurities, the music of my adolescence. My first date, Sonya bald spots. The first time I kissed a boy, Sonya bald spots. The first time I fell in love, Sonya bald spots. They would be singing just behind my back. Some nights I went to bed certain that I would wake up and they'd be hovered above my head singing my misery. I was beginning to believe that there would be no respite from the chasm of hair shame. That is, until the 1990s. LL Cool J told me he wanted a girl with extensions in her hair, and I thought, finally! And realized that I could add hair to my head, and that's what I did. See, I had never heard of weave until 9th grade when I realized that black girls all over the land were sprouting shoulder-length locks literally overnight. And I realized all you had to do was use hair glue to add new hair to your scalp. And henceforth, no one would have to know the shame lurking beneath the piles of possibly human hair on the top of your head. And I knew that I had found my panacea, but quickly, my hair heaven turned into a hair hell as I spun in a decade-long cyclone that always lived out the same pattern every year. Get a relaxer, usually leaving painful chemical burns in my scalp. Use glue, add weave, watch my own hair break off like splintered wood as a result of the glue. Take the weave out, let my hair grow out, get a relaxer, and start the process all over again. It was sheer exhaustion until 2001, when I discovered the holy grail of hair solutions. I discovered wigs! No, well, actually, it's more like wigs discovered me. See, you could put them on. Up until then, I thought of wigs as like some sort of terrible 1970s relic. Something my grandmother would wear, but no, not these wigs. These wigs were beautiful, and these were my ticket to being beautiful. And for the next 10 years, I bought wigs like some women buy shoes, like rich men buy cars, like Snooki buys tanning bed hours. I mean, I was in love with my wigs every year, spending hundreds and thousands of dollars on new cuts and lengths, because wigs became me. They allowed me to forget about Tanya Twyman and the kids on Bus 35. They allowed me to forget about the chemical burns in my mama's sweaty knees. They let me forget that I wasn't beautiful. That is, until I took them off. And then, like Cinderella, at the end of the ball, I was 9 years old and on a bus headed to Woolslayer Elementary. And I promised myself I would never go back there. So I took them off less and less. To walk my dog, I grabbed the wig. To go to the grocery store, I grabbed a wig. I had lovers that knew me for years and never saw me without my wig. And even when I became a performance poet and started traveling the globe, sharing my poetry, I started an entire movement telling people how to unapologetically love their bodies. I did it all in my wig. Until one day, let's call it today, I woke up and realized I'd been living in a tiny prison of synthetic hair. That the wigs had made me a liar. I was really just a little girl pretending to be a woman who actually loved herself. But some deep knowing in the center of my belly kept asking me, what would it be like if I let myself out of that prison? What would it look like if I told the truth to myself, to my world? I think it would look like this. And I would walk back to that school bus and grab 9-year-old Sonya by the hand, walk her off of that bus and into womanhood with me, whispering, "You have always been beautiful."